into this and find out more about it, but shit, dude. Like, I guess she had an affair with her trainer and a couple of other dudes. Like, some giant little orgy thing happened. And then now this bitch is going to talk about, you know, fucking with the babies and taking away women's health care. Meanwhile, she's fucking everybody in Georgia. Well, see, that's the thing about the puritanical view. My thoughts are she's going to French kiss you and show you why it's a good idea to be very affectionate with each other, even if same sex. Um, Holly, Holly, she never looks at the camera. Yes, it will. She knows this. So, that's too bad, girl. That's my chair. So the thing is that if we could get people to fucking calm down about sex and actually let them enjoy themselves, then maybe half the shit and problems we have would go away. Because the thing that they obviously Marjorie Taylor Greene is fucking everyone at the gym, so she likes to have sex. I just don't understand what I mean. I guess back in the day when they were doing the Bible was pretty much just a how-to manual to not die. You know, make sure you don't. They didn't let them have pork because and shellfish because if they didn't cook it properly, they would die, right? So that was why they put that in there. It wasn't because it was really sinful. It was because these bitches didn't know how to cook shit. They was just like willy-nilly putting it in the heat for a minute and pulling it back out and sticking it in their mouth and then, you know, puking because the pork had what was that trick of something or another? I can't remember what that fucking disease is. It has the worms in it or whatever. So that happened. And then, you know, no one knew how to clean themselves. So that's why they decided to start cutting off foreskins because people couldn't pull back their dick skin and clean it properly. So they had to do that to fucking fix shit up. You wouldn't care if I was on the phone saying this shit to you. I'm talking to you just the way I would normally. I'm not gonna fucking this is the whole point of this conversation, you know? So that's what I think. I think that it's time to like put away the antiquated book and you could still love Jesus. I well to be nice to each other thing is kind of good. And treat each other the way you'd want to treat yourself is nice too. I mean, unless they really like to like beat themselves up for liking sex. And then maybe then we should have a conversation about that. Well, yeah, because there weren't even some words for some of the shit. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the Old Testament in particular, um, that's okay. They when the Hebrews would conquer another country or tribe, because there really weren't countries, the first thing they would do is try to make them um, convert to Judaism. And then once they got them converted, I would imagine they killed them if they didn't convert. But once they got them converted, they took the soldiers and they circumcised those dudes like right there in the field. so that there was no chance of them fucking their women or trying to kill them in their sleep because their dicks hurt. So they were like going to just lay around for a few days. For real. And I remember being in church and hearing them talk about, doing that shit, conquering these other tribes and then and assimilating them in by doing that. And I remember sitting in Bible study with these ladies that I did not at all fit in with and thinking, oh, so the way they could control them was by, fucking putting them in pain so they couldn't fuck the women and kill anybody because they were in too much pain. Their dicks hurt. So it was a how-to manual. Fucking stupid. Yeah. You're gonna go to hell forever. There's nothing. I got the 411. Yeah. It's forever. Oh my God. And it works, right? That shit works. It was just like we talked about the other night, how the residual guilt when I first became pagan, you know, and just waiting for the shit to come down. And it's funny how certain things with my religion, like the former religion and the Orthodox thing, didn't translate. Like my mom saying you can't take communion at the Catholic Church because it's a sin and it's against our religion. And then I would just fucking be like, okay, whatever. And then I did it, and then told her years later that I did it. And nothing happened, like no lightning came down. Don't touch the holy water in the basin because we don't do that. Greeks submerge their people. They don't just sprinkle them with a little bit of water. We submerge our babies. I'm like, yeah, that was a fun experience. I'd like to do that again if I could. I literally remember when they baptized me in the church. I remember that day. Yeah, it fucked with me bad. I think that was the reason why. Fuck yeah, 3 times they put you under the water. And on top of that, you're fucking naked. And they hold you up in front of the whole church naked. 6 months. But I remember the whole thing. Like, oh, fuck yeah, there is. I don't remember like words and shit that people said to me. I remember being up there with my fucking godfather, who I never liked after that. Thank you very much. Ever. Never liked him. Holding me, and I'm wrapped up in the big white fluffy towel, and then Father Casteris grabbing me naked, dunk, 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 hold me up, said some shit, hand me back to my godfather, wrap me back up in the towel. I do. Like, what happened to you? I lost you. As much as I like looking at myself. I didn't, this, I gotta tell you how I did my eyes tonight. I saw, when you come back on, I want you to look at them. Are you still there? Look, I'm talking to myself now. Really? Couldn't, why, won't let me do it. But I hear you. What happened? Technical issues. Hey, Chris. Are you there? I think you walked too far away from your shiz. It says you're having technical issues. I'm hearing weirdness. I don't know why. Ugh. This is so frustrating. Weird. Maybe go back out of the room and come back in. I don't know what's happening. This is so weird. Oh, okay. Okay, so I guess now we know that you can't walk away too far from your internet.
No, it wasn't that. Somebody was trying to call me, and as soon as my phone
Oh, you know what? This is
like I didn't pick
bad.
up the call or anything, but as soon as somebody tried to call me, it kicked me out of the video.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, look
So,
at this. Look at my eyes.
oh, those are pretty.
Do you know how I did that?
Huh.
I saw this TikTok today, and they took their fucking eyelash curler and they held it closed up against their eye, and they put the shadow on this way, and then they put a little more in the corner, and then they put some shiny stuff here, and then they took the arm of their fucking eyelash curler and laid it this way, and then drew the line, and then just connected it. This is the best winged eyeliner I ever have done in my entire life. I was sitting here talking to Steve. It took me all of like 10 minutes to do this afternoon.
Oh,
It was
that's
so
good.
easy, right?
Yeah. That's
So
funny. I was watching watching TikToks, of course, and I saw a filter, and I can't remember what one it was, but it had like really bronzy gold eyeshadow in it, and I was
yeah,
like, I know, I remember I used to wear like that color, bronzy gold eyeshadow all the time. I don't know if I even have any now.
I
That
it's
color.
what did you buy at Ulta that time when we went there?
It wasn't an eyeshadow palette. I bought some foundation, and I think I got some like blush. But yeah, I need to go look at palettes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I mean, I have some, but I just don't think I have that particular color that I want.
Yeah, that palette that I got when we were there the last time is a lot like that. Hey, babe. Um, so while I was waiting for you to come on today, I was watching more YouTube stuff so that I can learn a little more stuff. And that's where some of the ideas I got for the topics came from watching the YouTube thing. But I was just sitting here, and this was like just in the very end. So the drama people came on. That Molly Golightly lady came on, and last night she was on too. And there's like all this weirdness, like from that stuff that I read to you today, where the lady was talking to me on YouTube and telling me to be careful because of all the crazy people and stuff. Now everyone's gonna hear the water. So I went last night. I went on and I looked at that Unirock guy, and I watched a little bit of Molly Golightly, and there was some crazy woman on there with Molly who was threatening her with lawsuits and shit. And so was that other guy, Justin, or not Justin, but the guy from Unirock. I can't remember what his name was, but so they were all talking about how they had all these receipts, and people were going to the Georgia police people or state troopers or some shit she was going to get in trouble. And so this crazy lady that was on there last night that was trolling them from the other groups, they brought her on live, and she was talking about how they were all going to go to jail and all this bullshit. And I was like, just again going, this poor dude is still in a coma, and meanwhile you guys are all over here yelling about this fictitious fundraiser that you did. So today the Molly Golightly lady was on, and she's still talking about it. And I posted that in the chat, like, Marvon McRae is still in a coma. So we're just talking about this shit, and then I'm sitting there listening to, and she don't nobody that doesn't donate to her, so she wasn't paying any attention to what I had to say. My cousin just tried to call me, Rusty. Now he's gonna think I don't want to talk to him. Anyway, she's a fucking life coach, Michelle. Molly Golightly is a goddamn life coach, and I'm sitting there going, really? Like, when I heard her say that, I almost typed in, wait, what the fuck? You're a life coach, dude? Who pays you?
Who pays you?
Who pays you? Because I'm in the wrong business,
So, how is she connected to to Marvon and?
Is Molly Golightly?
Yeah. Is that his wife or something?
No, she's a true crime blogger on YouTube who saw the story. I don't know how yet. I don't know. I'm still haven't put all the pieces.
Is another one that's just like, what do you call it? Like, just taking advantage or capitalizing on the situation.
So that's what the Unirock guy said. But the lady that's talking to me on YouTube, and I mean, I know all of these people the same amount. So I'm just taking all the information in. She said that the Unirock guy and Molly and Katie Joy are all fucking grifter crazy fucking people. And that this is their gig. This is what they do all the time. And Unirock, I mean, it really is, like I told you the other day, it's Yahoo groups, but on YouTube now. And so they all have these giant channels, and a lot of them, and that's why I said we need to figure out how we can to stream from the Discord server, because people can pop in there and have conversation with us while we're live and talking. But their feeds are flying, and they're having to slow the feed down. And then they've got all these people in there, and then because they have so many people in the YouTube chat room and on the Discord server, that makes the algorithm go crazy. And then YouTube says, hey, we're going to advertise on your live streams, and then you get something like $200 per 100,000 people that watch your shit. So
yeah, I don't think I can be that obnoxious.
Well, look, I'm not trying to be obnoxious, and I would never, I mean, yes, I would. Shut up. But look, I don't want to get into fights with anybody. I just want to talk about what I want to talk about. and maybe make some money off of it, but
You
not.
are such a liar.
I only said
And that's all I said.
that. She wrote that thing up and said you got to be careful because they'll dox you, and they'll come after your job and
Yeah,
all that stuff. And it was all
I
married
don't
together.
think
So
you're
I
worried
hit her
about
back and I
that.
was like, I've already been doxxed, dude. Before I even knew what that word meant, I was doxxed.
Can you see this?
I don't know, what is it? Your
Can you see
hand?
the? Can you see the inside of this
Yeah,
finger
is
right
that where the
here?
bite is?
Yep. The swelling finally went down enough to where I could see where that whatever that fucking bug was bit me. That's why I hate outside.
You hate coming on the live thing more than you hate to be outside. You'd rather be
No,
outside, but this is better.
no. I'd
You're
rather do this than be outside. Outside. If I just if if the bugs would just leave me alone. No, that's not even true because I don't like the heat either. So I just don't like outside.
you never have.
No, I never have.
Remember? Oh, no, that wasn't with you. I was gonna say, remember when we were supposed to do that? Like go lay in the dirt. Like all of this is gonna be on my video. All of this. It was like that on my last one too.
What? Oh, the sound.
Yeah.
I I can barely hear it.
Oh,
It's not a
that.
big
You can
deal.
barely hear it now, but wait till it goes up on YouTube, and then everyone will hear it.
Oh, okay.
But in when me and Gwen first started doing the whole Bardic journey, there was a
Yeah.
thing in the Bardic journey where you were supposed to go and camp by yourself in the woods, and
Uh-huh.
you were supposed to lay in the dirt and sleep in the dirt. Well, that's what I said. I looked at Gwen and go, no, I'm not doing
There's
that.
all kinds of bugs and impetigo and no.
Here's what I think. I think people up north do that shit because it's cold. They go up there in the cold, and we do it then.
Yeah.
With their sleeping bag and just lay out there in the dirt. She actually did it. But not. She didn't go just in a sleeping bag though. I think she went up there with a easy little pop up tent and did it. I talked about maybe doing it in a tent, and Leon was like, you're not gonna go camping alone because somebody's gonna come grab you in the woods and run off with you. Can you save it? Put it with the rest of the burgers. Thank you.
She had boiled burgers
I
for dinner
had to
tonight.
boil my burger. Hmm. So, did you come up with any topics for yourself?
Libs, quit. I, I'm just going to talk about my dogs.
No. Mm-mm.
No. Um, Not particularly. I mean, what we have been talking about lately, just in conversation,
Yeah.
seems to be, you know, seems to be the most entertaining thing going on right now. But
Well, I mean, until we figure it
other
all
than
out.
like, other than like, uh, I'd like to bring in some tarot stuff
Yeah.
and
You know what? Speaking of tarot, let me ask you what you think about this.
mhm.
So, somebody tagged me. I'm sure you've seen the picture of a coffee table that was a Ouija board.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
Yeah. And Kristen was like, "Oh fuck no, that's too scary for me." And I was like, "I don't get it. Like it's a portal. I mean, you're all right with tarot cards, and it's the same shit. Like I don't understand. To me, it is anyway. It's the same thing. So if you're and so then somebody said something about sealing things up, and I'm like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Like seal up the whole house? I mean, I don't. Shit wants to come in, it's gonna come in. You just and that was the other thing too. I saw Susie posting on a ghost post. Like somebody said that their mother-in-law was still in the fucking house, and Susie's like, "Well, put sage across the doorway so they can't." I'm like, "Why? So you could trap them up inside the house? What are we doing? Why would you do that?"
Yeah, no, none
Okay,
of that's
see,
gonna help.
But I knew that if I told them about the potato, they would all laugh at me, so I didn't say anything.
I mean, Ouija boards, yes, they're a tool like any other.
Any other divination tool.
Um, it's not as it's much newer than tarot. You know, it's a freaking Parker's Brothers game. You know, so there's some people that look down their nose at it. Basically, I
My
don't
mother
really have
fucking loved them. I've been playing with them my whole life.
I don't really have an opinion one way or another. I don't personally use them just because I don't feel a strong connection that way. But I don't like. I'm not afraid of it, and I don't think anybody else should be either because
No.
you know, again, fear just gives away your power. That's what
That
I was going to follow up with before I got cut off and before we digressed in a million different other directions
That's what we
when we were
do.
first talking about, biblical things and the connection between sexuality and what the Bible says and blah, blah, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So that whole thing about using that book to create this, carrot and stick dichotomy, um, that is exactly what empowerment is about because so many people are indoctrinated in that fear, steeped from birth. If you're bad, if you're sinful, you're going to hell. If you're
Yeah.
good, you get the carrot. You know,
Yep.
removing that thinking, removing that idea that you have to be one way or another in your life in order to prepare somehow for the afterlife. It's basically wasting your life because if you just remove that and say, I'm going to live my best life now and not
Yeah.
worry about what comes later, I'm just going to live as best as I can, as kindly and ethically as I can now. It is removing the fear of what comes after you die.
Yeah, but if you remove the fear that you can't control them.
Well, exactly. And
Yeah.
that is exactly what empowerment is, putting the control back in the person instead of outside of the person, giving your power away to somebody else.
So is that how exactly did you come to paganism then? Because you said you weren't ever really
And
in any
indoctrinated.
organized, yeah, no kind of religion, you know.
Well, I was born in Warren, Michigan, which is like a suburb of Detroit, and then we moved around quite a bit in Detroit and in various suburbs of Detroit until I was about 9, and then we moved out to no man's land, or at least that's how it felt to me because I'm like, there's no people here. There's no people. There's no sidewalks. It's just fields and nothing. And school was everybody all in one school. So there
Are you,
was little kids starting school in kindergarten all the way up to seniors in high school, all in
so how
one
many
building.
people were in your class?
I don't really remember exact number. I think it was probably a couple hundred, maybe. That's it.
Jesus.
Yeah. So even that young, it was quite a culture shock to
Yeah.
go from, you know, a big city kind of
Yeah.
existence to nothingness. So it led to a lot of boredom and a lot of reflection. And again, I wasn't really raised. I never went to church, was never taught any of that stuff. And so I got curious. I think I was about actually, the catalyst was my best friend at the time. I think I was about 12, she asked me to come to her church, and it was a Baptist church. I had never been to church, period, much less a Baptist church.
Yeah, that must
But
have been some culture shock.
I had a concept of what church was
Yeah.
because my grandparents were Catholic. So
And
I
you watched the
figured,
Blues Brothers, and so you saw what that was like.
yeah. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, priests, incense, a lot of kneeling and not kneeling for some reason. A lot of
Yep.
people saying stuff. I'll just mimic them. That's what I'm thinking, right?
And not in the
Mm,
Baptist church.
No.
Mm-mm.
Since we were kids, they took us all down to the basement and locked us in, literally locked the door. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why are they locking the door?
Right?
And then they started
Is
talking
that a
about,
fire hazard?
yeah, they started talking about how the devil is in music and rock music is going to make you go to hell, and there's all these backwards messages on records and I'm like, I'm so confused. I'm like,
What are
where
you talking about?
where's the incense? You know? I'm like, why is nobody praying? What the hell is going on? It freaked me out, just completely freaked me out. And then they finally let us go. Like, I really felt like I walked out of there feeling like I escaped something. And I went home, but I was so freaked out because I'd never experienced anything like that
Yeah.
before. And I was so afraid, because I'd never had any adults talk to me like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, my family, especially my uncle, was very into a lot of music, and I had all kinds of records. Even at 12 years old, I had all kinds of records and tapes because that's how old I am. And so I went home and I grabbed the garbage can from underneath the kitchen sink and I went in my room and I started putting tapes in the garbage can.
Holy shit.
And my mother came in and asked me, "What are you doing?" And so I told her, "Oh my God, they locked us, the devil's in the music. Mom, oh my God, they told us all this stuff." And
She
she
was
was
like,
so, yeah, she was so good about this. I really am grateful for her reaction. She was like, "Michelle, you can throw all your tapes away if you want, but I did not raise you like that. I raised you to think for yourself."
yup.
And
Okay,
so I
so
sat
then,
Yeah, I sat there for a few minutes and then I took all my tapes out of the garbage and put them back, and I never went back to that church.
but how did you get introduced to paganism?
So, from that experience, that kind of sent me on a journey. Like, okay, I know nothing about the church, and now my first real experience with the church was awful. It was totally just nothing like what I expected, all fear. So, I went to the library because that's how
I
old I
knew
am
that's what you were
again.
going to say.
I went not the school library, but the town
Yeah, the public
library,
library. Yeah.
and I checked out a book called World Religions. And it was kind of written like a college entry level college book on world religions. And I was like,
Yeah.
again, I'm 12. And I read that book from cover to back like 6 times before I took it back, because it gave like little glimpses of what each world religion believed, how they practice, what you should do if you're a guest in their home or their church or synagogue or wherever you are, their
Geez, that's a
temple.
cool book.
Oh my God. And I've never been able to find it since then, but it was so good and it interested me so much in all these different cultures and what everybody else believed in. And so I kind of just sat with that for quite a while, few years. And then I met another person through work. I worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken. and and my friend that I met there was Santorian. And so we talked a lot about that, and I was very interested in that. And she said, so let me introduce you to this store. And she took me to a pagan store, and I bought some books on Wicca, and Cunningham was,
Yeah.
yeah, because of
God.
course,
Yep.
it was the 80s.
Yep.
So yeah, so I think I was about 17 then. And so that
And that
was my first introduction to paganism, and realizing that I didn't really have to pick anything if I didn't want to. I could just be who I was.
I read the Scott Cunningham book when I got into it too in early 2001. And I picked it up when I was cleaning up books in one of my bookshelves to decide if I was going to donate some stuff or, toss it or whatever. And I
Mhm.
grabbed it out of the shelf and I was like, yeah, this was such a good book. And I sat down and I opened it up and I started reading it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad.
It's very, very basic. Very
It
basic.
was so bad. I was like, okay, I'm just going to go. I think I gave it to Joner to put in that bookstore
Yeah.
because why?
Yeah. It's very good. I think it still holds up today as a introduction for
It was
people.
much better than any other basic Wicca book that I'd ever read because Leon had given me to ride a silver broomstick first. That was the very first book I ever had, and
Mm.
and I was reading it on the plane on the way to Key West for Fantasy Fest, and I was struck by how much of that stuff felt natural to me. But the thing I didn't like about Silver Ravenwolf was she said things like, cast your circle in the usual manner. And I was like, hello? I have no idea what that fucking means. And so I don't even know how I got introduced to Cunningham's book. I feel like Pasco Pagans had already started, or I maybe Fallon. I don't know. But when I got that book, and he explained how to do it, I was like, well, this is cast your circle in the usual manner. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, now I get it. Who the fuck's out there? Oh gosh, we got all kinds of people out there. But that was how I end up reading that book, and I was like, thank God, because I'm like, what does this mean? She said so many things like that too. This is in the usual manner that you would call a quarter or whatever. What is a quarter and how am I calling it? I don't understand.
Yeah.
And he explained all of that stuff. So that was what I found refreshing about Scott Cunningham. But when I picked it up 20 years later and looked at it, I was like, okay, yeah, no. It's
Yeah.
like that's why I don't want to join a coven again because I'm not doing the first
Well,
degree again.
Scott, he had a very gentle way about
He,
him, and a
he
very
did.
gentle way of, explaining uh, how things work to remove the fear.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that lesson, more than anything else in those books, that's what stuck with me and carried me into my own path. Is everybody's so freaking afraid. Everybody's so afraid, and you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid of making a mistake. You don't have to be afraid that some deity or another is going to get pissed off at you for a genuine mistake.
Right.
Stop fear mongering.
Yep.
And I
And
see that
levity.
still a lot in paganism, and
Oh
in
yeah.
different paths, is you know because they've just kind of learned, fear makes people do what you want them to do. And so
Yeah.
I've always taught, when I do come across people that want to, learn more about paganism and what's that and what do you do and da da. That's my number one thing that I teach everybody first. It's okay. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid of any of this. Nothing we do is going to hurt you or anyone else.
Anybody else?
if that's not your intent.
I don't know if this was the night that we did the Mabon thing at Gwen's place when she was in the trailer out in Mascara Town. But remember that? So I think it was Dragon came to the circle, and when it was over, she pulled Gwen aside and told her she did it wrong.
Yeah.
That's control, though. She had an idea in her head of how she was going to get people to come work for her, for free.
Yep.
Bag up her jewelry and her stuff for her online store in exchange for Wicca classes.
Yeah, and she also had a very specific path that had a lot of those kinds of rules.
What was her path?
As
soon as you said that, like, I remembered it, but now I don't remember what it was.
And I don't remember what it was either.
I know that Leon and Bob got along really well, and so we hung out there a lot. And when I was testing the waters about whether or not I was even going to join that coven or not, we were in the pool at their house, and she said wherever in the world she was on Samhain, every single one of her coven members had to be there. Didn't matter where you were or where she was, you needed to get on a plane and come to her for Samhain. And all of the people that she had up in New York, all her handmaidens and all these people were coming down for Samhain to Florida that year. And Leon looked at her and said, well, if she joins your coven, then we're getting a divorce, because no, she's not coming to wherever you are in the world for Samhain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. I don't know. I guess they did. I think they came. I don't remember. I think Gwen had to go there and clean the house.
Well, I wouldn't agree to something like that for the same reason when I do hand fastings for people, I won't say forever and ever. I always say, as long as your love shall last. Because no contract should last forever. Nope. You can't predict that long into the future what's going to happen with your life.
Nope.
And all that is more control.
Yep. Yeah, I just refused to marry people before, because I'm like, no, I don't think you guys are going to stay married, so I ain't doing it. Go find somebody else. Well, I did. Yeah. Remember, Mike Carr's fucking kids came to me and wanted me to do it. That girl, after she had that baby with the one kid. And then they thought they were going to have the reception in my house. And she was just looking all over my house, deciding where things were going to go. And I'm like, A, I'm not marrying you, and B, you're not having a reception here. So I don't know. This isn't a resort.
What in the world makes people think they can do shit like that?
Like I don't know. You have some ginormous balls is all I can think. Like,
the entitlement is just out of control.
She came over with Mike, and I just remember standing in the upstairs looking down from my office, and she's standing next to me, and she's talking about the wedding, and said, yeah, no, there's only going to be like, 40 or 50 people, and I figured your house will fit all of them. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? I said, you're not having that here.
What'd she say when you said that?
She goes, well, Mom and Dad said, and I said, well, is this Mom and Dad's house? It's not, no. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here with your shit. And then I just told Mike, I said, I ain't marrying him. My notary stamp ain't going on that, so you guys go do whatever you need to go do, but I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel right to me, like I felt like it's a ginormous mistake, and I'm not going to help you make it, so go find somebody else that will.
Maybe we should poll people on what they want to learn about.
I thought about that too. There was a place for me to do that in here earlier, but I was too busy trying to get you on, so I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Well,
and also,
now that we know that we have to do this on our phones, that
yeah,
will
and Wednesday
probably,
nights. So
yeah.
everybody knows we're going to come out and do it on Wednesday nights, and then I'll just upload the raw shit with all the mistakes and everything to YouTube, and then people can laugh at us and make fun of us and shit. Hey, Mary. Um, and then we just got to start writing our topics down, like as they come to your mind. What do you want to talk about? And then, just I don't know if you have Spotify on your phone. I know you can do Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on your car radio. So there's all kinds of podcasts and stuff that talk about, how to create content on the YouTube, and just some weird,
Do you realize what you just said?
on the YouTube.
Yes, how to create content on the YouTube. Like you're 85 years old. How do I work it? It's on the YouTube. It's on the YouTube. Where's the Google?
Well, it sort of feels like it, like if a fucking 12-year-old's making $49,000 a month dancing in the bedroom while their mom and dads are telling them to turn it down. I figured I should be able to do something. And so I told that lady today, I was like, yeah, I'm going to make money doing exactly what my teachers told me I needed to stop doing my whole life. I'm going to talk.
Keep talking.
She's going to keep talking.
Yeah.
So I figured there are other things that the trip to Missouri, which is going to probably get fucked up now because my buyer called me today, and he's like 2 weeks out from putting his house on the market. So that means that if his market's hot in 2 weeks, he'll have an offer. So the end of September. And if I'm going to go the first week in October, then that's exactly when he would be here to go look for houses. And he's like, well, do you have somebody you could work with? And I'm like, who the fuck would I ask to go do this? Because I don't trust anybody. So
I thought you were going at the end of October.
Well, and Laura said that the leaves turn in the first part of October. And I always thought that was kind of weird. It's probably going to still be hot. If we go at the end of October, I'm safe.
Yeah, I think, well, it just depends year to year. You don't really know. If they have a cold snap, they're going to turn quick. If it stays hot, then it could be November before they start turning.
Yep. So I don't know. I got to wait and see.
All right.
So, because I want to go, he's like, you should go. If you've been talking about it. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But if you're going to be here, then what do I do?
Hey, Mary.
If he's, yeah, I think she is.
I can't see anything and I don't know how to do anything. So, hi.
The only other thing that if he doesn't come down, if he stays up there because he's got to pack or whatever he's got to do, he might buy something sight unseen, which I don't recommend. But he asked me to do a walkthrough, so I could probably get Marcy to let Steven go in with her, and he could videotape the thing. But I just don't want Marcy to. And if you see this, Marcy, too fucking bad. I don't want her to meet my fucking buyer. You can stay quiet. It's okay. I really don't. And because I don't trust her. The bitch can sell ham sandwiches to pigs. And it's not happening.
Yeah.
Nope. Not happening. So I don't know. We got to play it by ear. I think I'll shoot for the end now just to give myself more time. And if it's too late, it's too late.
We could talk about what it means to be an empath.
Oh, yeah, we need to do that.
And what it doesn't mean.
Yeah. That's kind of important.
Yeah.
Since people think it means one thing and it really doesn't. And the significance of your tattoos on your body.
Yeah.
I mean, I
talk
guess
about so much stuff. I mean, I've done so much stuff and, have experimented so much with, this thing works, that thing doesn't. Try this, do that.
And then we'll have Jackie and we'll do the essential oils too, and you can talk about tarot, and we can talk about the market conditions and
We could
what's happening in the
also,
country.
if she's willing, if we can get her to, we can maybe get her to come on once and talk a little bit about, because I mean, there's nobody else that I trust more than Jackie to know exactly what is safe and what is not safe with essential oils.
And that would
She
be
has
really good
been,
too,
she has
because
invested so much in her learning. She really
all those
does know a lot.
all those dummies that sell the fucking Young Living essential oils at MLM too, that tell you to feed it to their babies and all that bullshit. It would be good to have her on there, because these people like think that you should just do that. You should
Yeah, don't
put it in
ever
your
do
dog.
that. If anybody's watching right now, don't ever do that. Don't eat your
No,
essential oils. That's a bad, bad
it's a
idea.
bad thing. You shouldn't even put them on your skin, really.
No.
So I figured tarot, because that's your shit, and all the Wicca teaching crap, because I got no interest in doing any of that. And then, you know, obviously the political climate and what's happening. And holy motherfucking God, if Trump goes on trial and if they put that shit on TV, I would like to simulcast all that shit and be eating popcorn and crap while that's going on.
Did
And
you see his tweet this morning?
what did he say?
Why are people so mean?
No way, are you kidding?
I'm not kidding.
So I think in April, somebody went to interview him. And of all the things in 2021 he could have talked about that made him sad since he left the White House, his biggest sadness came from not being able to be on Twitter anymore.
Of
Not
course.
that all of his people fucking stormed the Capitol, not that he lost the presidency.
Oh, that gave me another good idea for okay. So here's my theory. Okay. Narcissism is rampant and he's the head
So much of
narcissist.
it.
He is the head narcissist. Okay? He's,
Commander in or narcissist in chief.
yes, narcissist in chief for sure. All
Nick.
right. So if you do any like looking into or research on narcissistic behavior disorders and what the tendencies are and stuff like that,
Yeah.
one of the keynotes of it is how they get their energy, right? How do they feel fulfilled? Gives them what fills them up?
He's a
Okay.
Gemini, by the way.
Who, Trump?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So I'm gonna ignore that. Women's rights, talk about that. We
Yeah,
will.
that's for sure going to
Definitely,
be.
Mary.
Yeah, that's definitely going to,
So
especially organizing.
they narcissists get their energy from um from a few different ways, but mostly by creating chaos in other people's lives and the attention that it gets them.
Motherfucker, didn't he have a perfect chair for that?
Right. So my new theory, along with the lead poisoning, which we'll talk about that too. We got to talk about the lead. We'll talk about all my theories. So I really think there's a connection, like an etheric connection between the rampant narcissism and vampirism, for lack of any other term.
Say vampirism, I swear to God. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah. They when you can't sustain yourself on your own energy, when you have to suck it off of others through other means, what other term is there? So basically,
Oh my
the
God, it's so
narcissist
sad.
in the narcissist in chief is just a bloated tick.
Did you see that meme I put up where he was when you can't tweet anymore, you're sad but you can't tweet, and it's like him sitting. They superimposed his head, of course, on like a swing, and the sun is setting behind him like an old person swing. And it's just like sitting like this, and then he's like standing someplace in a pool, in an empty pool, with his hands behind his back, like. And then everyone's turning on him. It's just so fucking funny to watch Ann Coulter saying, it's okay, Republicans. You can come back and run for office without Donald Trump. You don't need him. You can come back, and it's not the party of Trump. Just come back. Like, I'm going,
but
oh,
it
girl.
is.
Yeah.
But it is.
Yes, it is. It's too late for that. That horse has left the building.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also,
you guys drank that Kool-Aid. You're dealing with the consequences.
Ben Shapiro also said, it's over now. It's over. And then who else? There was one other. Oh, the
There are
other
certain
dude,
people.
Alex Jones.
Oh, see, that's another one. There are certain people I cannot hear their name without my eyes physically rolling. Like I can't. See, you're doing it too now.
I know. You see, Shapiro's got a sister who's on YouTube, and it's something called Perfectly Simple whatever. It's like she shows you how to be the perfect wife, to be conservative and dress modestly and all this bullshit, so how you can be aesthetically pleasing to your man but still, be covered up.
Oh, there's another eye roll.
Yeah, for real.
See, if I could transfer my eye roll energy, I would never have to buy electricity again.
Just
I could figure
I
out a way
rolled
to
on one.
harness my eye roll energy.
It hurts your head. They roll all the way around the backside and up to the front and come back around the other side.
Yes.
Yeah, there's all kinds of shit. There's plenty of shit to talk about. And
yeah,
we
the
talk
women's
about it all the
rights stuff, Well, that lady that you were just talking about, Ben Shapiro's sister, right?
Yeah.
What's her name? Martha?
No. I don't remember what it is, and we can't look on the Google machine because we don't have
Did you miss
access.
that? Did that
I
go over
do.
your head?
What,
Martha.
Ben? Why? Why Martha?
The Marthas from
Oh, oh God. Yeah. I'm sure that she would have made a good Martha. Well, she would have been a wife.
Oh, yeah.
She would have been a wife, not a Martha. And I'd be on the wall.
Yeah, we both
Yeah,
be
no.
on the wall.
They're not going to keep me because I'm not good for anything. And neither are you, because you try to
Nope.
boil bacon and put hot roast in the fucking crock pot with nothing. Here's some salt.
Salt and pepper on it. I don't know why that's so bad.
Oh my God, Stephen was cracking up.
Might have turned out all right. I guess we'll never know.
So anyway, before I went down the tangent of of my buyer, what I was like, I can video record while we're driving, the landscape and all that shit. I was trying to figure out how I could show US 19 on my car, but the way I have my thing that holds my phone, it's too low. You can't even see the road. So, and there's no way for me to adjust it. I need a whole different phone holder that's up on the dashboard so I can, when I'm going over the Skyway, I can videotape.
Yep. Best Buy had one that I bought for like $20 that was perfect for that. It was just a suction cup that went right on the dashboard and it,
That's what I need. We can talk about our Sims. We really need to figure out how to make the Discord channel work. I've gone out there and thought I was playing my game for everybody to see and nothing was happening.
Just talking to myself again.
I was on the Discord today trying to play my game. I'm like, how the fuck do I know if it's showing? And then I come off of there and it's like, you have no videos. Well, how the fuck is that even possible when I was playing for 2 hours? I don't get it.
I don't know. We'll have to. There's got to be a manual for the technology.
Them goddamn kids.
Some
It can't be the only gold out on the YouTubes.
maybe the Google will tell us how to work the YouTube and the Discord.
Something has, well, YouTube will probably show us how to use the YouTube and the Discord, but I just have to look at that. So, and then I just can't believe that the only way to do this is through the phone. Yeah. What is Mark
Yeah.
Zuckerberg doing but stopping me from reposting memes? I don't get what's happening at the YouTube headquarters.
The world is a safer place with you not able to post your memes.
They're shoving my shit down low in the feed too. I noticed that too. Like some stuff doesn't get any traction and it should, And so I'm like, what's up? Like, how are people not laughing at this? Because it's funny as fuck. I'm sure nobody's even fucking seen it. That's why they're shoving my crap down. It's a big conspiracy.
Yeah. Sure, that's what it is.
Maybe Alex Jones will keep talking about it and Mark Zuckerberg will have to keep moving all the time because people will go to his house and yell that free
don't
me.
say it. So get us banned already.
Oh, Lord. All right, well, I think this is pretty good for a first run.
Yep.
He got a little more comfortable as we went on.
I need a censorship button.
For me?
Yeah, for that. Like when you were just when you start saying maybe people will nope, censor, stop. Cut.
No, I wouldn't dox him. Alex Jones would.
Yeah.
It's not me. Alex Jones got
I understand that, but does the algorithm?
Evidently not, because if I share a fucking meme right away, because I'm a habitual offender,
yes,
I'm in trouble.
A habitual offender. Oh, and I still want to do our Ask the Aunties.
Yeah, that too.
So we'll make that like a segment within where we'll, answer a few questions that people have.
Yep. So I guess we need to figure out a time that we want to go on, so we can tell people, and I can put an upcoming event so that people will know to be on the be looking for get the notification for when we go live on the YouTube.
On the YouTube. Okay. We'll talk about that.
Or on the Facebook or whatever the fuck we're doing. It's going to go on YouTube too, but yeah. And then once we get enough people, we can start a community out there, because I noticed that today, that there's a community. It's a community tab, but you have to have so many people. And 348 is not enough, because that's what the lady that's talking to me has, and she don't have a community. So I went out to little Simsy to see if she had a community. I'm like, okay, this bitch has a community. So then you can actually talk about when you're going to go live and what you're going to talk about that day, or just communicate with people that are in your and I need a fucking studio so bad. What you're going to talk about that day, or shit that happened to you or whatever. But we do need to decide what time. And so I want you to think about that tonight so that I can make a page for it for next week, or
I'm thinking that this time worked out pretty good. So
what time was it when we went on?
Like 7:30.
7:30. Okay.
Like 7:30.
As the winter progresses, it's going to get darker earlier anyway. It's just when I'm over there on that window,
it's bright.
Very bright. You can't even see me. My sunglasses were activated while I was sitting over there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All
right.
So
7:30 next Wednesday.
Yep.
All right. Whimsical Wednesdays.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya. Bye, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.